The U.S. Navy has started a new future carrier program, and it is named after Gerald Rudolph Ford, the 38th President of the United States. The CVN-21 U.S. Navy program was initially known as the CVN-X program. The U.S. aircraft carrier fleet presents itself as the country's pride and an attacker's biggest threat. Imagine how devastating 200 innovative bomb-carrying planes in a single day can be to the enemy. Are you wondering how this can be made possible? Then watch this video till the end as we tell you all about what's inside the new $13 billion aircraft carrier. Before this time, aircraft carriers were regarded as separate fleets inside the United States Navy due to the overwhelming strength of the weaponry and the amount of equipment and troops they carry. However, things will be different as the Gerald Ford class is set to change the game. This program will allow the U.S. Navy to rapidly deploy aircraft wherever required, ultimately reducing the U.S. Navy's reliance on foreign military sites. The Gerald R. Ford series of multi-purpose nuclear-powered aircraft carriers are gradually replacing the Nimitz class. They have already achieved tremendous technological and appearance leaps, surpassing their predecessors' record-breaking physical characteristics. The Ford is 1,100 feet long and 256 feet wide compared to the 1,092-foot long and 252-foot long wide Nimitz, and the increased weight of over 100,000 tons on the Ford versus 97,000 tons on the Nimitz. The Ford-class wings will be able to eliminate hundreds of targets every day for weeks, enhancing the efficacy of the U.S. military force in conflict against any enemy. Also, when compared to the Nimitz, it has an increased number of sorties. One of the most important metrics for an aircraft carrier is the number of attacks performed per day. Ford's design evolved from steam-powered catapults to the most efficient electromagnetic system with a new braking mechanism to halt the planes on return. The necessity for a greater sortie rate of 160 sorties per day surges to a maximum of 220 sorties per day in times of crisis and heavy air warfare action, hence the flight deck design modifications. This design is also allowed for additional deck clearance, which is an obvious benefit for unimpeded aircraft launches. The flight deck has a smaller island that has been moved, and there are 3 rather than 4 deck edge elevators. Deck extensions also enhance the amount of space available for aircraft parking spaces. Aircraft servicing stations are placed near the 18 refueling and rearming stops. General Atomics was granted the contract to build the electromagnetic airplane launch system using a linear electromagnetic accelerator. The EMALS demonstrators were tested at the Naval Air Systems Command Lakehurst Test Facility in New Jersey. The present C-13 steam catapults will be replaced with EMALS. The EMALS technology will enable better aircraft acceleration control, resulting in reduced stress levels in the aircraft and pilots, a slower launch speed for uncrewed aerial vehicles, and a broader window of wind-over deck speed necessary for the launch process. General Atomics has been granted the contract for the development of improved turboelectric arrestor gear. The electromagnetic motor controls the synthetic arrestor cable to decrease maximum stresses in the line and the arrestor hook's total load and the airplane fuselage. The carrier will transport up to 90 aircraft along with the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter, the F/A-18E F Super Hornet, and the E-2D Advanced Ihawk, the E-A-18G Growler electronic attack aircraft, the MH-60R S helicopters, and robotic air and military vehicles. There will be more emphasis on the use of UAVs by minimizing the load on the aircraft. The new catapult and braking system will allow the Ford to launch many more different drones than the Nimitz class offers, both light and heavy devices, drones for gathering intelligence, transporting weapons to war zones, and refilling planes in the aviation industry. The aircraft carrier's nuclear reactors could power multiple neighboring nations simultaneously, including Monaco, Liechtenstein, Andorra, and San Marino, for a year of weapon handling efficiency. The logistics of the Nimitz armament were studied. It was created several decades ago and was not optimized for today's sophisticated weapons. This was a significant limiting factor in the Ford. Engineers dramatically simplified the movements of combat troops stationed aboard the aircraft carrier and automated most functions, eliminating the need for human workers, which substantially hastened crucial decision-making in emergency circumstances. Upgraded radars. Radars play a vital role in the life of an aircraft carrier, but the Nimitz class requires multiple radars to perform its functions, such as detection, escorting, and target identification. On the other hand, the Ford can replace a whole set of radars with a single multifunctional one that also takes up much less space. This system has better sensitivity than its predecessor and is considerably easier to maintain. The less space required for radar deployment has reduced opponents' visibility, an indisputable benefit. The Ford is unlikely to have any personal issues, as the aircraft carrier's reactors are much easier to repair than the Nimitz's, even though they can generate much more power. The multi-function radar and electromagnetic catapult are also a lot easier to maintain than the Nimitz. When it comes to cost, the United States is the only country in the world with a fleet and budget large enough to keep more than 10 aircraft carriers in service. A simple calculation shows that building, operating, and maintaining aircraft carriers costs the Navy only 1% of the federal budget. One aircraft carrier, Gerald R. Ford, cost taxpayers more than $13 billion. One of them was launched, one is under construction, and two are scheduled to begin construction in 2023 and 2027. The fate of future projects of this class of aircraft carriers is unknown. Still, one thing is sure, even with its flaws, the Gerald Ford was a massive leap for military technology over the last 40 years and deservedly received the title of the Menace of the Seas. However, it is much cheaper for America's budget than most of the lifetime maintenance costs. Saving on crewing, maintenance, and significantly reducing other expenses will result in the final price of the Ford-class aircraft carriers being at least $4 billion less than the Nimitz during its 50 years life cycle, given its total technological superiority. The ultimate goal is worth it. After all, by investing millions today, the Navy could save billions of dollars in the future by using cutting-edge technology. The most intriguing thing about the Ford compared to the Nimitz and all previous aircraft carriers is the zero chance of it ever sinking. First, its displacement is insane, so even an entire ocean full of water could not be enough to drop it. The Raytheon Enhanced Sea Sparrow missile will protect the Gerald R. Ford class against high-speed, highly maneuverable anti-ship missiles. The rolling airframe missile from Raytheon and Ramses is a close-in weapon system. From its construction and engineering works to its features, this $13 billion aircraft carrier has turned out to be a world record breaker and one of the most sophisticated aircraft carriers in the world, boosting the US Navy's confidence towards their opponents. What are your thoughts on this aircraft? Let us know in the comment section. If you like this type of content, don't forget to subscribe and check the link in the description to watch more.